Hi everybody, my name is Susan Adams and I'm a life and health coach for Apricot Tree Wellness and Nutritional Therapies. And today I wanted to talk to you about quinine. Everybody has heard about quinine and zinc as an alternative for the COVID-19 virus. Well, first of all, I wanted to talk to you about, what is quinine in the first place? Now, some of you know what quinine is. You can find trace amounts of it in tonic water. Well, quinine, a little bit of history about quinine. It was actually discovered in the 1800s by a British officer who was taking his gin and tonic with his medicine. And it helped the medicine go down, okay, as you remember. Throughout the years, they found that quinine was a really great treatment for malaria, a very successful treatment. Well, recently we've heard a lot of reports about quinine. Now, there are pluses and minuses to just about everything. Okay, my father always said all in moderation. So let's talk about that. First of all, there are great things that quinine will do for a virus. It actually is really good in attacking and destroying viruses and bacteria that are resistant to antibiotics. Well, as we all know, the COVID-19 is very resistant to antibiotics. But there's some side effects, okay? And some of the side effects include it will reduce your body's production of platelets, okay? What that means is it's the name for that is let me get it right, okay? Thrombocytopenia. It's a long word. Anyways, a lot of doctors call it gin and tonic purpura. Another thing that it will cause is kidney disease. It's really tough on your kidneys. It's really hard to flush it out. And as any alcoholic knows, your kidneys will suffer if you do a lot of gin and tonic alongside of your liver. It can also cause sensitivities through the years. So let's say that you don't do gin and tonic for a long time. You've been an alcoholic in the past and gin and tonic was your thing. And then you stop drinking. Well, after a few years and then you go in for a quinine treatment, it can cause a great deal of harm. And that's just because your body is very sensitive and our bodies really can't take very much quinine. Another thing that it can do is it can also cross the placenta when you're pregnant. So it's highly recommended that you try to stay away from quinine if you are expecting, because it will cause birth defects. Another thing that it will cause is extreme bleeding. So when you have that quinine or a high amount of tonic, most of the time these years, tonic doesn't have as much quinine as it used to have. Really trace amounts, so you really don't have a lot to worry about. But with quinine treatment as a prescription for an illness, especially an extreme virus, it can cause a lot of bleeding, both internally and externally. So it can be a major health risk. So what can you do to help protect yourself? Instead of quinine, you remember when you used to get those cold sores? Those are the herpes B virus, okay? That's a virus that lives in your system, kind of like the Epstein-Barr virus. And it tends to live dormant until you have a stressful moment, and the stress will lower your immune system, initiate the virus, and it'll take over. Now, from the research I have read, COVID-19 is very much the same. Talking to a doctor a few days ago, he's a surgeon on the front line, the COVID-19 acts a lot like an autoimmune disease, such as EBV virus. It kind of causes more of an autoimmune disease. So if you already have a pre-existing condition with a compromised autoimmune system, it can take you down. And that's how that works. Now, getting that herpes B virus, the cold sore on your lip, well, what did you take? Usually lysine treatment, right? A lot of health professionals, naturopaths, and nutritionists will prescribe lysine to help battle an autoimmune disease to kill the Epstein-Barr virus or other viruses that are systemic. The same goes true for the COVID-19. Now, I'm not saying that it cures the COVID-19, but what it can do is help your body fight it better. What does lysine do? Let's talk about that. Well, first of all, it plays an important role in your immune system. It's directly involved in the development of antibodies, which are your little white blood cells, your little army guys, okay? It also prohibits proliferation of viruses, and it strengthens your body's immune system and connective tissues, thus providing a strong barrier against bacteria and viruses. Okay, that's how lysine works. There are some other really great benefits to lysine. It can also reduce anxiety, improve calcium absorption and retention for those of you who have osteoporosis, osteoarthritis. For those of you who have brittle bones, maybe you're growing older in age and you have that in your family. Maybe you don't drink a lot of milk. Maybe you don't eat a lot of greens. If you're taking a calcium supplement, I highly recommend that you also take magnesium, because calcium needs magnesium in order to absorb into your system, and lysine will also be beneficial in retaining that in your bones. That's really important. Okay, so other things that lysine does for you, it promotes wound healing. How does it do that? It helps with collagen production. So as we get older, it's really good to be taking lysine for lots of different reasons. Anxiety, depression is one of those, calcium absorption and retention, brittle bones, wound healing, and wrinkles. So that really does make a difference. I take lysine, I take quite a bit of lysine because I was diagnosed with Epstein-Barr years and years and years ago. And so I take that especially right now. Now, if you take too much of it, there's a couple of side effects, as there is with everything, but it's not as extreme as medications. The side effects for lysine, generally, you will see cramping, maybe some stomach ache, and a little bit of diarrhea. So at least consult your doctor as to what you're doing. Keep them informed. Now, if you don't have a doctor that is very well trained in nutrition, I highly recommend you get a second opinion. Okay, so let's recap. The side effects of quinine are internal and external bleeding, a lot of sensitivity, kidney disease, and possibly birth defects for pregnant moms who are taking it. For lysine, as an alternative to a similar function, has a lot of benefits, including improving your immune system, upping your antibodies, prohibiting proliferation, which is the growth of viruses and their production, because if you remember, this virus invades your cells and kind of, well, assimilates them for those Trekkies out there, okay? You don't want to be assimilated. That's what we're trying to prevent. And lysine's a really great barrier for that. If you want to know more on how to improve your health and reduce pain naturally and heal, and maybe be a little happier and healthier, then you can get a hold of me. You can email me at apricotnutritherapies@gmail.com, or you can visit my website at apricottreewellness.com, and that's just with one T. As always, I'm right here. You can always message me. You've got free access to me right now as my friends, as my close circle. You can always talk. If you just need someone to bounce some ideas or some emotions off of, I'm right here. And as always, I love you so very much. I'm praying for you, and I'm here with you. Reach out, okay? Friday, tomorrow, I am launching YouTube Live. I'm going to start moving all of my videos, my live casts, over to YouTube Live on my YouTube channel. I'll be posting a link for that so that you can follow along. And things are going to change just slightly, but right now you've got a slew of videos on my timeline as well as my page, Apricot Tree Wellness and Nutritional Therapies. Okay, so if you haven't had a chance to review those videos, go through my timeline and kind of stalk me a little bit and watch those videos. I promise you that you will enjoy them. They're not always the best, the first couple that I did, but you know what? You get better with practice. Excuse me. So Friday, join me on my YouTube Live. I'll post a link for that. And as always, I love you. I'm here for you. We're going to get through this together. We're going to stand, and we're not going to be defeated. We are going to make it through this. And I love you. I will see you on the other side of the sunshine. Bye, guys.